And welcome, Mindsetters, to this session of Learn Extra Live. Grade 10, we're looking at science today, so I hope you guys got your pens, pads out, and you're going to make some notes. I have Tracy here with me.
Oh, thank you, Ty. I am here. I'm glad you noticed.
Yeah, as in you're actually here, not...
Yes. Well, that's always up for debate
Yes,
some
it's always
days, you know.
debatable,
I'm
but
here.
Yes. I'm actually thinking, what are we going to be doing today?
Today we're doing energy. So today we're going to look at kinetic energy, potential energy, mechanical energy, and the conservation of energy. And then we got a really cool thing I'm going to play with just now, the skateboarder. It's called with the skate park. It's very cool.
All right, interesting.
He's a bit freaky in terms of dimensions, but it's cool.
Ooh, ooh.
It's animation. So yeah, we can deal with
Okay,
that.
so while you make your way across the board, Mindsetters, you know the drill by now. You need to get on the Facebook page. You know the link, www.facebook.com/learn extra. Get to talk to me, speak to me, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you're lost in it, if you need help, post on the page. And yes, it is a Tuesday, so I have these awesome prizes to give away. So make sure you guys just get on the page and chat to me. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Guys, I'm saying like any post would be cool, as long as they are very helpful or really insightful. That would be really handy. Like you can't just randomly just put hi and just expect to win. You can put like
agree. Yeah.
diagrams, anything you guys think would be cool for the page. But yes, Mindsetters, I am looking for that to give away these prizes. And Mindsetters, also want to send a quick shout out to Liberty for sponsoring the show. And yeah, I'm done. So Tracy,
My
take it
turn.
away.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ty. Actually, before I get onto the content, I actually have to say this weekend I had the privilege of being at the ESCOM Expo for Young Scientists International Science Fair, which is an international competition. And the only reason why I bring this up is there were a whole bunch of you mindsetters out there at the competition, and you made me feel so special. It was the first time I sort of went, ooh, maybe children do know who I am besides my learners. And there were like freaky celebrity moments of having photographs taken, which were very cool. But you know what, guys, it was so nice to see you face to face and to meet you from all over the country, from Limpopo and Cape Town and KwaZulu-Natal, and have you tell me just how much you enjoy the show, how much it's helped, you know, from grade 10 to 12, and even Palesa was there. She was last year's overall winner, and she had to be there the whole week, and she told me she was PVR, and she had spring school on PVR, and that is just so cool, because it really makes me feel like, wow, we're doing a great job. It's great for us to know. So besides on the Facebook page, it's also nice to meet you guys face to face, you know. And while I remember, okay, I actually have to say special shout out to boy Palelo. I think I probably said her name wrong, but she knows who I mean.
There's no point in looking at me. I would get it just
It's
as
just
wrong.
Yeah. It's in case she forgets to send me a message on Facebook to remind me, because I've remembered. Happy birthday, Sweet Pea. It was her birthday on Friday, and she's just spent the whole day in a very hot, stuffy hall while people judged her project. But she coped well with it. So I said
That's
I'd
a
give her a
trooper.
shout out and say, happy birthday, okay? And I actually don't know if you got any medals, but if you did, well done, sweetie. Okay, great fair. It's a nice thing to get involved in. So, where does that leave us? We now need to get back to the science.
She actually just said
Hey,
hi on the page.
She did you. Well done, Sweet Pea. She listened. I love it when people listen to me. But happy birthday, sweetie. Okay, hope you had a good day on Friday. You got a medal. Well done. Okay, now let's get to the boring curriculum. Okay? Actually, it's not so boring. So we're going to look at the concept of mechanical energy today. Now, energy, you may or may not have quite got there. We haven't quite at my school, but that's okay. It's in this right to the area. First, we need to define what is energy. Energy is the ability to do work. Okay, now work, remember, is defined as not just, oh, I feel tired because I wrote something, but work is defined as a force pushing an object or moving an object over a specific distance. But energy is defined as the ability to do work. So if something has energy, it has the potential for work to be done. What that energy is, it can have lots of forms. I'm hoping you remember from grade 8 to 9, you would have done kinetic, potential, chemical, electrical, you would have done you don't get heat, sound. You get lots of types of energy. We want to put it down now to only two types, and that is we're going to look at gravitational potential energy, and we're going to look at kinetic energy. Those two together are mechanical energy. Okay, those two together give us the overall concept of mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is very, very specific. It's not just any energy, and it's not heat, it's not sound. Really what we're looking at here is mechanical energy comes down to the energy that's required for motion, to stop it, to change it, to begin it, to start it, all of that sort of stuff, okay? So let's deal with gravitational potential energy. Potential energy, general, is defined as the energy of an object due to its position in a field, okay? Or due to its position. So we get chemical potential energy, we get electrical potential energy, we get magnetic potential energy, we get all sorts of stuff. We are now going to look at gravitational potential energy. So gravitational potential energy, if we look at its definition, and this is what this is, okay? Gravitational potential energy is the energy an object has due to its position in a gravitational field relative to a reference point. So when I talk about gravitational potential energy, we're in a building where we're on the second floor, okay? No, I lie, we're on the first floor. Feels quite high. It's only one flight of stairs we go up. It's first floor. Okay, besides the point. We're second floor compared to the basement. Moving on. But me compared to the floor has zero potential energy because there's no distance between me and the floor. That is my reference point. But if I had to compare my position to the floor below us, ignoring the floor that I'm standing on, but one floor below us, I have potential energy because if I take the floor below us as my reference point, then I have potential energy, okay? When I take my pen, because I keep moving it around, and we know I can't stand still for all the money in the world, I'm changing its potential energy. When I leave the pen on its little holder on the board, relative to the holder, it has no potential energy because there's no distance, okay? But relative to the ground, this pen now has potential energy because there's a distance, okay? There is potential for something to happen. Now, the potential generally with gravitational will become kinetic, okay? Equation. EP equals mgh. Now, guys, this is where life gets really confusing because for the last few years we've used U, okay? So some of your teachers may have used, okay, maybe I should have a pen, may have used the symbol U with you. That's fine, though they are going back to using the symbol EP, which is quite nice because EP is gravitational potential energy. It's easy to remember. E being energy, P being potential. It's great. Measured in joules, same as work, okay? Same as work. Potential is mass times gravitational acceleration times height. I need gravitational acceleration in there, acceleration due to gravity, because we're on Earth, okay? Gravitational field, and H because of the distance, its relative distance in the field. So if we look at this and we go, well, that's actually quite easy to remember. Acceleration due to gravity, 9,8, not 10. Please, 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 grade 10s, that's really, really important. Some of you, if you're using old textbooks, this hasn't really changed over the last few years. If you use 9,8, some of your numbers change a little bit, and that's fine. It's because we used to allow 10 because it was nice for rounding off and giving nice numbers. But 9,8 is a far more accurate number for acceleration due to gravity, so you must use 9,8. Okay? Height in meters, mass in kilograms. Remember, grade 10s, that in physics, mass is measured in kilograms. In chemistry, it's measured in grams. Because in physics, your physics is very much a macroscopic physics where we're looking at motion, dealing with all of, stuff that's on a much bigger scale, stuff we can see with the eye. With the naked eye, we don't need microscopes, whereas in chemistry, we're dealing with much smaller proportions, smaller values of chemistry, chemicals, that sort of thing, so we use it in grams. Okay? Cool. So, let's do some calculations because that's the whole point of the section. So here we go. Calculate. Yay, I like calculations. The gravitational potential energy of a water bomb, don't do this, grade 10s, because it'll do damage, of mass 1,5 kilograms. So first, as we go along, so we're saying I want potential energy of a water bomb of mass 1.5 kilograms. Hopefully you guys realize that means that it's a water bomb with 1.5 liters in it. I'm not sure where you get a balloon big enough for that, but that doesn't matter. And it's held 5 meters above the ground. Okay, 5 meters above the ground. So now we're going, we want gravitational potential energy. It's on the Earth. I haven't been given it, but it's implied. We need to use G, which is 9.8 meters per second. Okay, so we go, oh, we can do this. This is nice and easy. Potential energy equals mass times gravity times height. Mass is 1.5. Gravity is 9.8. Height is 5. I can't do this in my head, so let's have a look, and we'll do it here. 1.5 times 9.8 times 5. And remember, we needed it as decimal, so it's 73.5. But it's 73.5 joules. Grade 10s, energy is a scalar. Okay? No direction. Be careful here, please. Generally speaking, in grade 10, your energy answers should be positive. You should get positive values. But please keep in the back of your mind that you can get negative values for energy. You're going to particularly see this in grade 10. I know that when we're dealing with vectors, we go, if it's a negative vector, it means we've changed direction. That isn't what happens with energy. If it's a negative value for energy, it means that we've taken, or taken is a bad word, we've lost, and I really don't like using that either, but we've lost energy in the system to the surroundings, okay? So there's been a transfer of energy that's not potential to kinetic. It means there's a transfer of energy to heat or sound or because of friction and all sorts of things. But you shouldn't get a negative answer now, okay? So just keep that in the back of your mind. Okay, next question. Calculate, brilliant, the gravitational, ooh, maybe I should have a pen that you can see. How does that sound?
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, it's one of those nice to haves, I think. And once again, pen doesn't want to write. There we go. This board really doesn't like me, just so you know. I blame the board. Gravitational potential energy. So we want EP. Energy of a car of mass 80 kilograms. Oh, sorry, 800 kilograms. That would be a very light car. When it is 600 meters above the bottom of a mountain. So we haven't lifted the car into the air. What we're saying basically is that here's a mountain. Okay, there's my mountain. I have my moments. And my car has ended up, let's just draw. Okay, that's a very bad car, which looks more like a dog on wheels. Anyway, that's my car, okay? There's the bottom of the mountain, and I'm saying it's now 600 meters above where it started. How it got there is irrelevant. How fast it got there is irrelevant. How long it, none of that's important, okay? We don't care about its speed. The point is, at this point, it has got to 600 meters above the bottom of the mountain. G is 9.8. All right, so we go, oh, this is so nice, we can do this. Because now we're going to put it into the equation. So mass is 800. G is 9.8. Height is 600. Guys, I'm hoping you're already realizing we're going to have a much bigger answer than we had in the last one. Let me find the calculator. There it is. So we're going to go 800 times 9.8 times 600. Okay. 4,704,000 times 4,704,000. Okay. 4,704,000 joules. It's expected that the potential energy is going to be much higher than the last one for two reasons. One, the mass is significantly bigger. Okay, 1.5 kilograms to 800 kilograms, huge difference, grade 10s. Also, the height is so much bigger. It was only 5 meters in the last one. This is 600 100 meters. It is no, it's more than that. It's 120 times bigger than the last one. So that's a huge, huge difference, grade 10s. That's really important for you to get. So please don't have in your head that your energy can either be only small numbers or only big numbers. It can be both. It all depends on the situation. There's no set rule to that. I mean, there are some things where we can tell you, well, if you get a big number, then you've made a mistake. Here, not at all, okay? Grade 10s, you're welcome to put this into scientific notation if you want to, but don't do it unless you absolutely know how to, or if your calculators are in scientific notation already. Be careful, because if you put this into scientific notation and you do it wrong, you don't get the mark for the answer, and that's a bit of a stupid way to lose an mark, okay? And you know what, Ty? I know we're a little early for a break, but I don't want to start kinetic energy just yet, and we'll get back to do kinetic energy after break.
We'll double up and just.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no, never mind.
So mindsetters, make sure you do not disappear. Stick around. Make sure you keep on posting on the page. Keep chatting to me. Keep letting me know what you guys are thinking. But for now, we'll see you after this break. And welcome back, mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. You went and did whatever you had to do. Like I always say, now you're back, you're ready, you've got your pens, pads out, and you're going to make some notes. Because you should be making notes, because you need these notes for exams. But anyway, on that note, mindsetters, we're going to get straight back into the show. So here we go. Tracy, take it away.
Yeah, I had to think about that as to why you would need the notes.
I was just like,
yeah,
I was letting it for them to kind of just get like, I need
okay,
notes.
you stick with that story. Anyway, moving on. Ty is 100% correct. Probably you will have grade 10s probably about 4.5 weeks till final exams, till November. Can you believe it? Which means you need to start doing your revision, okay? So, last session, before the break, we did potential gravitational potential energy, which is the energy a object has due to its position in a gravitational field. Now, we're going to look at kinetic energy, and this is the one thing you guys have far too much of 90% of the time. Kinetic energy is the energy of an object, and is the energy an object has due to its motion, okay? An object must be moving to have kinetic energy. So if I hold my board pen completely and utterly still, which is actually quite difficult for me, then it has no kinetic energy. But as soon as I start moving it and doing stuff with it, it has kinetic energy because it's moving, okay? So it's very much based on its motion. The nice thing there is then we get to the equation, which we don't need to worry about how we get there, but EK, kinetic energy, for those of you whose teachers are still using the old new symbols, because now they were the new symbols and now they're the old symbols, and it just is getting confusing. But some of your teachers might be using a K, that's fine, okay, though we are moving towards using EK. EK equals a half mv squared, where EK is kinetic energy, just like potential. I like the EK because it's the energy of kinetic, energy of potential, makes it easier. It's measured in joules, just like before. Mass is kilograms, just like we had before the break, but V is velocity, which is in meters per second. Take note here that this equation does not take acceleration due to gravity into account. So we're no longer concerned about the gravity. We are concerned about the motion of the object in a very specific point in time. An object can have changing kinetic energy. If I had to let the pen drop, which I'm not going to do because it breaks it and people get upset, and they're apparently very expensive, which I believe. Okay, but if I had to drop my special pen onto the floor, as it's moving down, its kinetic energy is changing. Because it's accelerating, as it gets further and further and further down, it gets more and more kinetic energy, okay, because it's increasing in its velocity. If it moves at a constant speed, then its kinetic energy stays constant. That is going to come into play when you get to grade 12. You're going to do something called the work energy theorem, And you're going to deal with the fact that when the kinetic energy changes, work is actually being done on an object. And that work can be done by a person, the earth, whatever. There's a whole bunch of things that can do that works. But we're not concerned about that for now. The point is, this velocity, if it's constant, means that it's for the kinetic energy doesn't change. But it can be changing. So when I'm looking at specific points, I'm looking at the velocity at certain points, okay, in time. You sort of getting there? Cool. Now, let's, like we always do, because it's the easiest way to do it, calculations. Calculate the kinetic energy, so that's EK, of a car. Oh, look, it's our same car. Look at that. Never mind, I got excited. All right. He now has a mass, though, because mass can't change, of 800 kilograms. And is moving at 10 meters per second. Grade 10s, I really hope you're paying careful attention to the things I'm doing in terms of underlining things and putting square blocks around them and that sort of thing. I'm not just doing it so that I've got something to do while I talk, which I do a lot of, but I'm doing it because I want to show you an exam technique. This is really, really important. I've been teaching for a fairly long time now, and you know what, I still do that at times, particularly if it's a very difficult question, not so much for grade 10s, but for the grade 12s, when I get an exam paper, which I've never seen before, I will sit and write all over it and highlight stuff and underline and all sorts of things, simply because it's important for us to know the information. Now, this is a nice, two-line question, but once the questions start getting longer, and you know how they go, they give you all these long-winded stories, and you're thinking, just get to the point. You need to be doing this. Okay, so that means we can do our substitution. All right, so we have a half times 800 times 10 squared. I could do this in my head, but I'm not going to, just in case. So we have a half times 800 times 10 squared. And we get 40,000. Remember what I said to you before the break? It doesn't matter if you get a big value. So this is 40,000 joules. Not so bad, hey? Nice and easy. All right. Now, again, watch here. Same car. Still want kinetic energy, but now its mass, its velocity has doubled. Be careful here, grade 10s, because a lot of you go, oh, that's easy. That just means his kinetic energy will double. No. His kinetic energy is actually going to be 4 times greater because it's v squared. Calculate it again. Do not take a guess. Okay, so we want EK. We know the mass is 800. We know the velocity is 20. Okay, so kinetic energy is a half mv squared. So it's a half times 800 times 20 all squared. Now watch, I said to you that it's going to be 4 times bigger, so it was 40,000, which means we should get an answer of 160,000. Let's check. 160,000. I think I can keep my job. Hey, what do you think? Maybe.
I think
okay.
Yeah. You're all right. You'll be fine. Yeah. We'll think about it.
I have my moments. Okay. 160,000 joules. Nice and easy. But you know what, grade 10s? Being able to calculate potential, being able to calculate kinetic out of context or just on their own is fairly useless, okay? So, we need to get to this concept, mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is the sum means addition, of the gravitational potential energy and the kinetic energy of a system. At this level, we are ignoring friction, air resistance, any of those things. Grade 10s, we know they are there. We know that. But if we had to add in all those extra little forces every single time you had to do a calculation, you would never cope because you don't have the maths yet. Not because you're stupid, you just haven't done it in maths yet, and to jump into it now would just be stupid. Okay, so we don't. So we ignore everything else. We are only looking at potential and kinetic, and mechanical energy is specifically potential and kinetic. Okay, so mechanical energy is potential energy plus kinetic energy. Okay, why are we being so pedantic about this? Because mechanical energy is a very specific type of energy. You know from long ago, somewhere in the back of your head, you were taught the law of conservation of energy. And that law said to us that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but can simply be transferred from one form to another. Okay? Which means we could get chemical energy changing to electrical, changing to kinetic, changing to heat, whatever the case may be. But here, for mechanical energy, we have another law. And that law says to us that the total amount of kinetic energy in a closed system remains constant. So the initial mechanical energy of a system will be equal to the final mechanical energy of the system, which means, be careful, that my initial potential energy plus my initial kinetic energy is equal to my final potential plus my final kinetic. That should be okay. Okay? Now, some of you are probably saying, hang on, wait, Tracy. My teacher taught me that potential energy at the top equals kinetic energy at the bottom. It's okay. That is on the premise that at the top there's no kinetic energy, and by the time it gets to the bottom, it now has no potential. Okay? Because noughts added to those give me the same value. So be careful here. What I'm saying to you is the sum stays the same. Now I have a little thing to show you. Okay, so here we have, if it comes up, where did it go? No, there we go. I have my energy skate park. It's cool, hey?
Really awesome.
There's my skater. Okay, and what we're going to do is I'm going to put a bar graph on the side here. Okay.
And this is from FET, huh?
This is FET. P-H-E-T. Yeah. FET, wonderful. Guys, you must go download FET. The nice thing about FET is you don't have, once you've got the sim you want to play with, you can actually download it and keep it on your computer, so you don't have to be online every time, okay? Though, like this one, we're actually running online, but you don't have to. Now, this is what I want you to do, okay? Is you are going to look at the energy graph over here, okay? So this energy graph, I'm not putting the slide layer over this because it keeps doing all sorts of funny things, okay? I want you to see what happens with it. Now I'm going to take my skater, okay, and we're going to go over here. Watch. No, we're not moving him just yet. Okay, I'm putting him over here. Ooh, stop. Okay, you got to tell him what to do as well. Okay, guys, watch what happens. Okay, we're going to clear the heat because we're ignoring friction, so we don't worry about it. I want you to look very carefully as this goes through at this total line, okay, the total part of the graph. That is your potential plus your kinetic for the whole time. As he moves, now at the moment, because he's actually at a certain height above the ground, he has potential. Now, I've paused him. He actually doesn't have kinetic, but just pretend. Because as I go, and we'll put him in slow motion so you can see it a little bit easier, you can see that as he moves, it's a bit painful because he's slow, that his potential and his kinetic, and right almost there, let's just step it a little bit. When he gets to the bottom, I want...
You ink layered.
I ink layered it! I hate the ink layer. Just so you know.
Finger. Use finger would be better idea.
Ooh, I hate these things. Let's go there. I ink layered it. I hate... Sorry, let's try again.
Ink layered.
Okay. Hate it. There we go. Clear ink. There we go. Do it again. There we go.
Probably just... Yes.
Close. Ha! Got it. We're
Then
fine now.
press
Okay.
play.
We're fine now. Right now, they're busy killing themselves. We're busy killing themselves at home, but you know what? It's okay.
It's okay.
you
We're
know,
okay. We
that's what I'm here for. I'm their comedy
Yeah.
entertainment for the night. Moving on. Okay. So we're going to get him down. Watch what happens at the bottom. Okay? You look at the potential now. The potential 0, but his kinetic is the same height as his total. Okay? Now we let him move all the way up, and we see that he goes, and eventually you're going to get, and there we go. We can get to a point where both of them, okay, I went a little bit far, they're about the same height, because these two added together give me the total. Let's get to the top. Okay, we get to the top of his motion, and we'll get him there. Watch, oh, eventually, and that's at the point where he'll stop before he changes direction, right there. Okay, kinetic, total, and potential are the same. Okay, kinetic is now 0. Now he stops, and he changes direction. Okay, so he's got to stop. Let's put it into normal motion. So it's a little bit faster, but you can see potential and kinetic constantly changing. We're ignoring friction. That's really, really important because it just makes it easier for us. Now, we can also do it, let's do it on a different shaped skate park. Okay, we've also ignored friction on all of these. Let's put him over here. Okay, he doesn't want to be on that side. Let's put him over here, and off he goes. And you can see he goes up and down. It's a very strange little skate park that looks like a very strange little road, actually. But that's besides the point. Okay, I actually want to change something. Let's make him a little smaller because he's quite a big skater. Okay, so let's return him. I don't know. Oh, he went over there. And did he get a bit smaller? I think he did. It's a bit easier. There we go. And off he goes. Okay, we're ignoring friction. We can, of course, add friction in if we wanted to, but we're not going to add that in just yet. Oh, he came off the end. Did you just see that?
Yeah, he was going pretty hectic.
Yeah,
there.
no, sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen. But as he came off the end, all his thermal energy became so, yeah, let's go back to this one. He shouldn't have come up there. I made him too small, that's why.
Then he just went.
Yeah, no, he just went off. But that's besides the point. What did I want you to get from this, besides the fact that Tracy doesn't know how to use the board? Total mechanical energy is constant, okay? Total mechanical energy is constant. It's the sum of potential and kinetic. We are going to now take a little bit of a break, and then when we come back, I'm going to do some calculations with you and show you how we actually put it into calculation practice.
All right.
Cool.
So mindsetters, you heard Tracy, do not disappear. Do not just randomly go away. Make sure that you come back, and guys, keep on posting so I can give away this awesome Casio calculator and this labeler. But for now, we're going to see you after this break. And welcome back, mindsetters. Hope you had a nice little break there. You did not disappear. You're back. You're ready. You've got your pens, pads out, and you're going to make some notes with your phone right next to you so you can post on the Facebook page and chat to me and let me know what you guys are thinking. Yes, guys, I still have to give away this awesome Casio calculator and this labeler, so please get to posting. But on that note, Tracy, take it away.
Oh, brilliant. And also, guys, I believe there's some requests. I didn't know I was going to do this. That if we get to 20,000 hits, that maybe, Ty's going to do a dance or take his hat off or something. And I'd really like to see that. So, this is my challenge. We only need 177 likes. Huh? I think that's what we...
177.
177 likes, guys, and then we to 20,000 likes. How awesome is that? That is just wow.
It's exciting.
I think then we do need to celebrate, hey?
We probably will.
Okay, so
Cake,
guys, that's my dare
snacks.
to you. Let's get it up to 20,000 this week, okay? So we can see Ty do something funny, because we can, and I can pick on him. I love it. See, you're the social media person. I'm the teacher. I have to be calm and collected and normal. Yeah, right. Next to it, I'm going to teach them.
Totally. You're so calm. Always.
All the time. I'm just, brilliant moving on. So let's get to some calculations, okay? So what we have is we have a question that's actually quite long. It's got several parts to it, so keep with me, okay? A 2-kilogram ball. So let's start with that. A 2-kilogram ball, so that's the mass, all right, is dropped from a height of 10 meters height. calculate the potential energy of the object before it was released. So the same, we've got a ball over here. There's my 10-kilogram ball, and it gets dropped, and then something happens. So the first thing they want is the potential energy. Well, that we can do. That's a nice and easy calculation. So EP equals mgh, and we're going to go 2 times 9,8 times 10 gives me 196 joules. Okay, I worked it out beforehand, so don't worry about it. I didn't do that in my head. Small, that's fine. I know it's very tiny compared to the last numbers we got, but that's okay. It's a small ball. Now it says, calculate the kinetic energy of the object just before it hits the ground. So we have the potential over here, and it hits the ground, and now they want the kinetic. Grade 10s, this is very important. You could do equations of motion if you wanted to, but no, you actually couldn't because you don't have enough information. How you lay this out is extremely important, okay? This is a conservation of mechanical energy question, which means I need to say, now watch what I say, the mechanical energy at the top, which is what I said earlier was initial, okay, whatever you want to call it, is equal to the mechanical energy at the bottom of its motion, which means we've got to look at the potential at the top plus its kinetic, which is then going to be equal to its potential at the bottom plus its kinetic at the bottom. And actually, the kinetic at the bottom is what I was asked to calculate. So now, we calculated earlier that the potential at the top was 196. The object was dropped. Dropped means it was held. Initial velocity is 0. That means it has no kinetic energy at the top. Okay? So that's 0. It gets to the bottom of its motion. No relative height anymore, which means it has no potential at the bottom. So EK at the bottom. And watch there. Nice and easy. No calculation actually needed. It's just the way we set it out. It's 196 joules. So if your teachers have set you potential energy at the top equals kinetic energy at the bottom, you can see that is correct. But you must be careful how you lay it out. Okay, it's very, very important because I really am looking for conservation of mechanical energy principles here. Same object. Now, calculate the velocity of the object as it hits the ground. Well, we just calculated that its kinetic energy is 196 joules. Okay, cool. Kinetic energy equals a half mv squared. So this is 196. Mass, let's just go back and refresh our memory. If it goes back for me, mass was 2 kilograms. And that's for v squared, okay? So a half times 2, I hope you all know, is 1, which means v squared equals 196, and if we take the square root of 196, we get 14. So the velocity, oh no, what have I done? Stupid ink layer thing. Hate it. Sorry, I don't like this board. But I'm okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah, no, if I tell myself that enough, it'll become true. I'm just saying.
You're fine. You're doing great.
Okay. You know, we have our moments. It's got to be one special person on the show. Oh, wait, there's you two, so there's 2 of us. It's brilliant. I love you, Ty.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, moving on. All right, then it says calculate the total mechanical energy of the object. We actually have done that. You did that right at the beginning. So we can say, well, my total mechanical energy is going to be my mechanical energy at the top, which we have worked out earlier, 196 joules. You don't actually have to calculate it again. Why did I ask you this, though? Because, look at the next question. Okay. Calculate the velocity of the object when it is 3 meters above the ground. So we had the object move. We now say, here it is, 3 meters above the ground. How fast is it going? What is its velocity? Okay. This is where mechanical energy conservation is very important. Because mechanical energy, my total mechanical energy, which we worked on in the last question, is equal to the mechanical energy at 3 meters. Okay? So, 196 joules is going to be equal to mgh plus a half. You'll see now what I'm doing. So we have 196. Mass hasn't changed. It's still 2. G is 9,8. But it's 3 meters above the ground. Okay? It's not at the top. It's not at the bottom. So it has potential. Plus, it's still 2. Now we want v squared. So we have 196. And we're going to go 2 times 9,8 times 3, which is, I've worked it out, 58,8 plus v squared. And you know what? Now it becomes that horrible thing called maths. Okay, so it's a maths problem. And this gives me 137,2. And we square root that, and we get 11,71 meters per second. Okay? It's slower than when I got to the bottom, but the potential is also smaller than when it was at the top. Okay? The point is that the total stayed 196. If they had given you more information, like time and that sort of stuff, you probably could have used equations of motion to work this out if you really, really wanted to. But they're not going to be so nice to you. However, ooh, my diagram's gone. How rude. I had a diagram there, it's disappeared. Anyway, it's fine, I'll live. They tell you, very important, a pendulum of mass 200 grams is lifted to a height of 1 meter above the lowest position and then released. What we're saying to you, and the diagram was here, it's just gone on holiday. Pendulum gets lifted, does this, okay? It's a 200-gram pendulum, and it gets lifted 1 meter. Guys, very, 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 very important. This is a pendulum. A pendulum is circular motion. It is not linear. You may never, for the rest of your high school career, use equations of motion on a pendulum. Because a pendulum is not straight. Remember I asked you that question a couple of weeks ago about when you get a situation where you can have constant speed but changing velocity, okay? Pendulum, constantly changing acceleration, okay? And it's circular. Once you get to velocity and you do physics, then you add in a whole bunch of horrible things to take that into account. So let's keep it simple. Pendulum, circular motion, means you have to use conservation of energy. First thing they say, calculate the maximum potential energy. We can do that. So they're asking for maximum, so potential energy would be mgh. Oh, hang on, wait. Mass was 200 grams. I can't work in grams. This is physics. So that makes it 0,2, I don't know why I put that in brackets. Makes it 0,2 kilograms. Brilliant. So it's 0,2 times 9,8 times 1. Okay. It's a tiny little number. Watch here. Oh, maybe I should turn the ink layer off again. Hate that. Times.
Finger.
I did. Okay. I'm not going to use the calculator. Oh, I don't want to restore it. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to use it. You're going to have to believe me. Sorry?
Today's just one of those days today.
I'm fighting with the board. Again. Anyway. Are we okay with that? Good. Calculate. Next question. Calculate the maximum kinetic energy. Oh, wait. Maximum kinetic energy would happen when it gets to the bottom of its swing. So, E mechanical, let's put a T for the top, would be equal to the E mechanical, let's put a B for the bottom, let's make it easier for ourselves, which means potential at the top plus kinetic at the top would be equal to potential at the bottom plus kinetic at the bottom. Okay, so now we go, okay, potential at the top we just worked out. Kinetic energy at the top, when it gets to the top of its swing, it stops, so kinetic is 0. When it gets to the bottom of its swing, potential is 0. So its maximum is 1,96 joules. Not so bad, okay? Do you see, grade 10s? They pretty much have asked you the same question as we did just now, just in a different format. But it's the same layout, okay? Same question as the object falling. This is just a pendulum moving, okay? Next part. Calculate the maximum velocity of the pendulum. So I'm asking you, how fast is it going when it gets to the bottom of its swing? Well, we just worked out its maximum kinetic energy, which is 1,96. We know that kinetic energy is equal to a half mv squared. So that means we have 1,96 equal to a half times 0,2 times v squared. Okay. So 1,96, a half times 0,2 is 0,1 times v squared. Divide both sides by 0,1, we get 19,6. Should we see if this is going to play with me? Oh, it's going to play with me. All right, so that means we've got, let's just check that I was right with the first division part. Okay, of course I was. And now we need to get a square root of that, which is a horrible number, 4,43. Okay? 4,43. And it's not fast, but we don't expect it to. It's a pendulum. Okay, it's like a pendulum, to put it in context for you grade 10s, is like the swinging part of a grandfather clock. Okay, a swing is a pendulum, anything like that. That's cool. Okay, so Ty, the question now becomes, do you have questions?
Right now, not as yet.
Okay,
but I'm scanning.
Okay, scan quickly because we're running out of time.
Okay, let me see or something.
So while he's scanning, okay, so guys, what have we done? Gravitational potential energy, energy due to its position of gravitational field. Kinetic energy, energy due to motion. Mechanical energy, sum of gravitational and potential. Law of conservation of mechanical energy, the sum of your mechanical energy is kept constant in a closed system. Does that mean you have a question, Ty, with that face?
Yes.
Okay, hit me.
Okay, so Pleasure wanted to find out what's the force with which the Earth attracts a body?
That depends on the mass of the body. Okay, but the Earth always causes an acceleration of 9,8. All right, you probably you'll do Newton's law of universal gravitation, and when we talk about your weight, that's the force with which the Earth is attracting you, not your mass, your weight. Okay. Yep.
And that's about it. Pretty much everyone was just like following along and answering with you, so...
Brilliant, guys. I'm so glad. This is such a nice section because there isn't a lot to it. It's practice, practice, practice. Remember all the little bits and pieces. Remember your units. Remember your equations. And, you know, guys, we are done. Next week, we're going to do the hydrosphere. It's actually a really, really nice section. It's the last part of chemical systems. So I'm actually done for today, Ty.
All right.
So we'll see them all next week, and you can say goodbye now.
Okay. So, mindsetters, I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys, well, obviously you had fun, obviously, with that board situation. Like, Cabello was like, yeah, the board and Tracy have issues.
We do.
Maybe counseling, maybe we can sort.
Couples
Anyway.
no, I'm with you. No,
But
yeah.
yes, mindsetters, make sure you keep using the page, keep talking to each other, keep using it to pretty much just expand what you guys already know. Mindsetters, I just want to say thank you for joining us today, and for me as Ty, and thank you to Liberty, by the way, not forget Liberty,
Yeah.
and Tracy. I want to say thank you and see you next time. Cheers, guys.